Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, December 28th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with WWE Smackdown broadcast live on USA Network from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. In the main event, Sami Zayn and Carmelo Hayes battled to a no contest when Hayes fled the ring to escape Braun Strowman and the Bloodline attacked Zayn. Strowman attempted to help Zayn, but both were taken out by the Bloodline to end the show.
A valiant effort by a resilient Zayn, but once again the numbers of the Bloodline. We're out here to make a statement, to send a message, because a week from Monday at the Netflix premiere, if Jacob Martel takes out Zayn, Solo Sikoa meets Roman Reigns in Tribal Combat to prove who the real Tribal Chief is. Solo just said, Roman, I'm coming for you. And another spike to Zayn. January 6th, it's all about the Ulafala. There can only be one.
Earlier in the night, Strowman pinned Austin Theory in a one-on-one match. In other results, the Street Profits beat Los Garzas, and the team of Bayley, Bianca Belair, and Naomi beat Candice LeRae, Nia Jax, and Tiffany Stratton. Last night's show is intended to be the last 2-hour SmackDown, as the show is scheduled to expand to 3 hours starting with next week's episode. AEW presented the final episode of Rampage last night on TNT, featuring matches taped on Sunday at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. The show came to a close with a final angle featuring Jon Moxley and the Death Riders forcing their way into the television production truck and demanding that Rampage be taken off the air for good.
Tell me who let them in. No one's allowed.
Who's responsible
No,
for all
John,
this
what are you doing in there?
chaos
John,
out there? I'm looking for answers. Who's responsible? I know you're not responsible. How are you supposed to do your job with all this chaos going out there? They're all fighting for scraps. But I will put an end to the chaos on December 28th, and I will clear the playing field, and I will bring peace to my people. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an end to Rampage. Cut it! Cut it right now!
Take black.
Cut it right now.
The incident followed a gigantic brawl involving the Death Riders against numerous members of the AEW locker room, including Orange Cassidy, Hangman Adam Page, and Jay White, after the Death Riders had been shown attacking Darby Allin backstage. In other results, Hook defeated Nick Wayne in the main event. Chris Jericho retained the Ring of Honor World title against Anthony Bowens. Thunder Rosa defeated Layla Gray, and Private Party beat Leo Sparrow and Alec Price. And finally, in ratings news, Dynamite's Christmas Day episode this week drew a viewership of 574,000 to TBS, according to Programming Insider. That's down from last week's audience of 625,000. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a .18, which is also down from last week's rating of .19. NXT's Christmas Eve episode this week drew an audience of 723,000 to the CW, according to WrestleNomics. That's up from last week's audience of 708,000. The 18 to 49-year-old demographic rating was a .14, which is down from last week's demo rating of .16. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.